everyone. Welcome to Education for Next Generation. Myself, Mrs. Mini Saji, today going to discuss a 10th class topic, respiration. We all knew that we all eat food or all we are getting energy from the food. The food which we consume that is undergoing oxidation process and then releases energy. So we are going to discuss today about the respiration and the energy releasing system. As we have discussed in previous chapter in nutrients, how to gather the nutrients from the food sources, how to extract the nutrients from the food sources. Now we are going to discuss about how this food is undergoing oxidation process in cellular level and we will get the energy from that. For that, we are going to discuss about some of the terms which are like respiration, respiration is the process in which the food is undergoing oxidation in presence of oxygen. Complete oxidation of food material after large amount of energy is released and the end product carbon dioxide and water is also formed. So we can write an equation for this like here 6CO2 will be the end product, water is that end product and 686 kilocalorie energy is released. These are the end products of the respiration process. The entire reaction we can write like this. Or one molecule we can take it to make it easy. 6C6H12O6 which is the glucose plus 6 molecules of oxygen is required when it is an aerobic respiration. Then it forms 6 carbon dioxide plus 6 molecule of water and energy is released. This energy is 686 kilocalorie energy. Now let us write that definition for this process. As seeing this equation we can describe it more better. Like respiration, it is a process in which food material is oxidized in presence of oxygen and produce carbon dioxide and water. The entire sequence releases large amount of energy is released. In this entire sequence, we can see that whenever we will describe about respiration, it means that oxidation of food material, not that breathing in and breathing out. Here we can see that glucose, oxygen is used, end product carbon dioxide and water and energy is released. We can see a difference here with nutrient where we have studied about photosynthesis process. Respiration is a reverse reaction of the photosynthetic process. Where we have studied 6 CO2 and water combines and forms glucose and oxygen. Now we are utilizing that food material, glucose and oxygen, and producing carbon dioxide, water and energy. So all living forms, whether they are unicellular or multicellular, all needs energy. This currency or energy currency is required for doing our all metabolic work and all the living work activities, and simultaneously making our all cells alive. Types of respiration. There are two types of respiration. One is aerobic respiration. And second one is anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration, as the word itself releases, that aerobic respiration needs oxygen for that process. So oxygen is required. In this process. Another one more process is there which we call it anaerobic process. So some of the living organism, aerobic oxidation of food material takes place, we can say aerobic respiration, and some other anaerobic respiration takes place without oxygen. Respiration takes place. Aerobic respiration where takes place here, aerobic respiration occurs in cytoplasm of a cell and mitochondria. Here in anaerobic respiration, usually seen in prokaryotes like bacteria. In that, only plasma membrane and cytoplasm between take part in this oxidation. Here, in aerobic respiration, the end product is seen as mentioned above, carbon dioxide and water are the end product. Ethyl alcohol is the end product here, and CO2. Large amount of energy like 686 kilocalorie is formed in this process. Here only less amount of energy like 56 kilocalorie is formed, which is equal to 2 ATP molecule, and it is equal to that 38 molecules of ATP. So this way respiration can be classified in two ways, aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Both aerobic and anaerobic respiration takes place in all living forms. Aerobic respiration we can see in higher animals and plants. Anaerobic respiration we can see in bacteria. Now let us see what is the difference between that respiration and breathing. Respiration, it is a, we can say, is a physiological process and here it is a physical process. Breathing means taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. This is the simplest form of this. Now, technically we are writing that breathing process means inhalation of oxygen and exhalation of carbon dioxide. This is a physical process, and it is a physiological process which takes place in cellular level. When we let us see the breathing process, as we said that it is a physical process in which that breathing from the pathway, if we see, we can see that from nostrils, air passes through the nostrils to the nasal cavity, to it opens with nasal nares, nasal nares opens into pharynx, pharynx opens into trachea, trachea opens into bronchus, bronchus opens into bronchioles, bronchioles at the end connects in air sacs, or we can call it as alveoli. This is the pathway in which just the exchange of gas takes place from nostrils to nasal cavities till pharynx, trachea. In chest, trachea divides into two tubes which we call it as bronchus. Bronchus further enters into the lungs and divides into fine tubules which are called as bronchioles. Bronchioles ends in air sacs where the exchange of gases takes place. When we are inhaling or inhalation time, more oxygen from that air is consumed. When we are exhaling, the exhaling air contains more carbon dioxide. Inhalation of air or inhalation time, oxygen is more in that air, nearly 21% of air, and carbon dioxide is just 0.03%. Now exhalation time, oxygen comes down to 16% and carbon dioxide increases in more amount. So this is considered as only a physical process. Coming to respiration, once the exchange of gases takes place from the air sacs, the diffusion mechanism is going on in air sacs. So blood capillaries which are present in the supplied in the air sacs, from there oxygen is taken away to the blood vessels and blood vessels give out carbon dioxide. This air sacs, from that blood carries the oxygen and food material both, and it is transporting to each and every living cells. Each and every living cell inside, when the nutrients and oxygen is reaching, the oxidation of food material takes place in cytoplasm of the cell and mitochondria. Complete oxidation after, carbon dioxide and water is formed. Glucose break down into smallest units like CO2 and water. But when the bonds are breaking between that glucose molecule, large amount of energy is released. That energy we are using and all living things are using for their biological process. So it is also considered as an important life process. Let us see the history of this entire process, understanding and their mechanism. Now let us see today about respiration